So what kind of marital counsel does the Song of Songs give? Well, one of the pieces of counsel it gives is the need to praise one's spouse. For example, here it says, "How beautiful you are, my darling." This is the bridegroom speaking to the bride. "Oh, how beautiful your eyes behind your veil are doves. Your hair is like a flock of goats." Now, most girls might not consider that a compliment, but it was in the culture. It's kind of a cultural thing. Imagine a herd of goats going over the hill and kind of flowing down like a girl's hair waving in the wind. Your hair is like a flock of goats descending from the hills of Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep just shorn, coming up from the washing. Each has its twin. In other words, you're not missing any of them. Not one of them is alone. Your lips are like a scarlet ribbon. Your mouth is lovely. Your temples behind your veil are like halves of a pomegranate. Your neck is like the Tower of David, built with courses of stone. On it hangs 1,000 shields, all of them shields of warriors. Your breasts are like two fawns, like twin fawns of a gazelle that browse among the lilies. Until the daybreak and the shadows flee, I will go to the mountains of myrrh and to the hill of incense. Now, when he gets, notice he kind of works from top to bottom, from the head and the eyes and the hair and the neck and down to the breasts. And when he gets to the end, he waxes metaphorical. Until the day breaks and the shadows flee, I will go to the mountain of myrrh and to the hill of incense. I suggest that that is not a literal mountain, but I leave it to you to fill in the interpretation. Another piece of marital counsel is not being indifferent. In Song chapter 5, verse 3 through 8, she says, "I've taken off my robe. Must I put it on again? I've washed my feet. Must I soil them again?" My lover thrust his hand through the latch opening, and my heart began to pound for him. And I arose to open for my lover, and my hands dripped with myrrh, my fingers with flowing myrrh on the handles of the lock. And I opened for my lover, but my lover had left. He was gone. My heart sank at his departure. I looked for him, but did not find him. I called him, but he did not answer. The watchmen found me, and as they made their rounds around the city, they beat me and bruised me and took away my cloak, those watchmen of the walls. O daughters of Jerusalem, I charge you, if you find my lover, what will you tell him? Tell him that I am faint with love. Here at the beginning, she was being indifferent, but then she regretted it. And again, one should not be indifferent in a marital type relationship. Counsel number 3, there's positive values of integrity, loyalty, faithfulness, and commitment. Song chapter 4, 12 through 16 says, "You," speaking of the girl, "you are a garden locked up, my sister, my bride. You are a spring enclosed, a sealed fountain. Your plants are an orchard of pomegranates and choice fruits, with henna and nard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with every kind of incense tree, with myrrh and aloes and all the finest spices. You are a garden fountain, a well of flowing water streaming down from Lebanon. Awake, O north wind, and come, south wind. Blow on my garden, that its fragrance may be spread abroad, and let my lover come into his garden and taste its choice fruits." Again, my lover coming into the garden. The garden is a metaphor for the girl. She has locked up her sexuality. You are a garden locked up. but then she freely gives it to him. Let my lover come into his garden and taste of its choice fruits. Chapter 7 also has these positive values of integrity, loyalty, faithfulness, and commitment. Come, my lover, let us go to the countryside. Let us spend the night in the villages. Let us go early to the vineyards to see if the vines have budded, if the blossoms have opened, and if the pomegranates are in bloom. And there I will give you my love. The mandrakes send out their fragrance, and at our door is every delicacy, both old and new, that I have stored up for you, my lover. Now, mandrakes are kind of a aphrodisiac, or so it was thought in biblical times, and has sexual connotations. And again, her sexuality is stored up for you, my lover, freely given to just the one. In Song 8, verses 10 through 12, the girl says, I am a wall, and my breasts are like towers. Thus I become in his eyes like one bringing contentment. Solomon had a vineyard in Baal Hamon, and he let out his vineyard to tenants. Each was to bring for its fruit 1,000 shekels of silver. But my own vineyard is mine to give. The 1,000 shekels are for you, O Solomon, and the 200 are for those who tend its fruit. Here again, she brings contentment to her lover, who she calls Solomon, which may be metaphorical, and she gives it freely. Doesn't have to pay for it. Waiting till the right time is important. A phrase is repeated several times. Do not arouse or awaken love until it or she pleases. And the meaning is, don't start the process of erotic exchange until it's appropriate to do so. In chapter 8, verses 8 through 10, it says, we have a little sister, and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister on the day that she is spoken for? Well, if she is a wall, we shall build on her a battlement of silver. But if she is a door, we shall barricade her with planks of cedar. I was a wall, and my breasts were like towers. And then I became in his eyes as one who finds peace. Now, again, metaphorical language here. A girl who is a wall is a girl who's inclined to be chaste. Well, even she needs a little bit of reinforcement. Then we'll build on her a battlement of silver. But a girl who is a door, well, she's inclined to be too loose sexually. And in her case, we'll barricade her, we'll wall her up. And the point is walling up sexuality until it's time to give it over at marriage. Again, you need to wait until the time is right. Marriage in the New Testament is a type of Christ and the church. And though the Song of Songs is not a direct allegory of Christ and the church, I think we can bring allegory in through the back door anyway, by the New Testament's analogy that says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her in Ephesians chapter 5. Human love between the sexes is a type of God's love for the church. And so in that sense, the Song of Songs, which shows the human love between a man and a woman, foreshadows the love of Christ for his people. And so even though I would not affirm the allegorical view, it does have at least a grain of truth. And that concludes our analysis of the Song of Songs.